So, if you're like me, you spent most of your life growing up and not fitting in. And I just want to come on here and talk specifically to you, the person who felt like they found their people at one point in time, but then realized that those really were not their people and that they could never really fit into the places and the spaces that they would go. This message is specifically for you. I need you to understand that you do not fit in because you're not supposed to fit in. So when I lived in Florida, I was pretty much just a stay-at-home mom. I very rarely got out of the house, and I was trying so hard to make some type of friends, be it just mom friends or business friends, because I ran a business on the side at the time. And every single time that I would connect with someone, it wouldn't last long. It wasn't a connection that I would say I could see myself continuing on for years and years. And so a couple of years later, I finally decided, I'm going to take this thing of finding friends seriously, right? And I found a group of friends that I just completely fell in love with. But even though I really, really loved those ladies, we had a lot in common, we connected, we spent a lot of our time together, there was still a part of me that did not fit in. I still found myself not being invited to certain things. One of them, they had their child's birthday party. I had absolutely no clue. I knew nothing about. I texted the group chat, hey, what's up? Where we at? Oh, we're at so-and-so's birthday party. Oh, I had no clue. We have kids that are the same age and no one invited me. And, I found myself sitting and watching on social media, one of my closest friends getting engaged at a surprise birthday party that I wasn't invited to. And, a lot of these things occurred, and I kept trying to figure out, we talk on a consistent basis. Why is it that I do not fit in? Why is it that I feel like, even though they're my friends, I don't feel like they're my friends? I thought that this was the group that I was called to, the girls that I'm supposed to be besties for the resties with, things like that. And every single time, there were these moments that would just stick out to me that made me say to myself, these are not your real friends. And as bad as it was, one of the things that I first had to do was I had to pray and I had to ask God to send people in my life that were going to be genuine. And not only genuine, I had to understand that there are seasons for people to be a part of your life. And you also have to recognize when that season is completely done, when it's time to say, you know what? We came into each other's lives. We served the purpose that was supposed to be served, and now we're done. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you guys end on bad terms. It just means that at this point in time, the relationship is done. And that also doesn't mean that you can't pick it up later. I actually just recently reunited with one of my old friends. So pray about the friends that you're asking for. Pray and ask for a spirit of discernment, but most importantly, understand seasons, and that when the season is over, it's time for you to move on. I didn't fit in with those friends, and you don't fit in with those people that you're trying to fit in with because you're not supposed to. You were meant to stand out. You were meant to be at the top. You were meant to be a leader. And there were so many times that I found myself in that friend group just fitting in and just being a part of the background. And I knew in the back of my mind that that wasn't my place. I knew that God had called me to be a leader. I knew that I was supposed to be at the forefront. And I found myself saying, well, I'm just waiting on an opportunity. I'm okay with being here for now. And God doesn't want you to be okay with just sitting in the background when He called you to be greater, when He called you to be a leader, when He called you to be more than what you are being right now. So you don't fit in because it's not your place to fit in. Fitting in is not for you. You're supposed to look different. You're supposed to sound different. You're supposed to be different. As a matter of fact, I would go as far as to say that you are literally the blueprint for a lot of people. You just have not gotten enough courage to be able to walk into your calling. So once you get that courage and once you step up and once you say, okay, it's time for me to lead, it's time for me to go forth and do what God asked me to do, then you will understand why it was so hard for you to fit in with those people that you were trying to fit in the past. That was not your place. That was never your place. You were out of place. Another reason why you weren't meant to fit in is because God is encouraging you to grow. He's encouraging you to make a transformation. When we try to fit in with other people, it can leave us stagnant. It can leave us stuck. It can leave us feeling okay because these people are okay and you don't know what part of the journey they are on their life. Maybe they feel like they have arrived and they don't need to grow anymore. So they aren't reading books. They aren't attending conferences. They aren't watching the sermons. They don't have any mentorship, right? And here you are trying to fit in with these people because you think that this is where you're supposed to be. And God is saying, no, I need you to grow. So you have to go. So the reason you don't fit in is because fitting in with these people can stagnate your growth, which can be detrimental to your future. And the last reason why you don't fit in is because God wants to strengthen your faith. When we are around people who we think we're supposed to be around, and I said think because remember I said pray about the people that you're surrounded by, and a lot of times we haven't prayed about these people. We just figured because we have a lot of things in common with them, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. So God wants to strengthen your faith, and he can't strengthen your faith when you're busy leaning on other people and watching what other people are doing. Sometimes it's going to feel lonely. Sometimes you're going to feel alone in this thing called life, and that's okay. Those are the times where God is saying, okay, now the only person that you have to rely on is me. You can't call this person for strategy. You can't call this person and ask them to borrow $100. You can't call this person and ask them what it is that you have to do next. The only person that you can call on right now is me. And God should be the only person that you should be calling on in the first place. And yes, he does place people in your life that can offer you value and that can offer you wisdom. But sometimes we have to understand that God will remove people and places and things away from us so that our focus would solely be on him. Because if not, then we would make God an option. We would choose him last. We would choose the other people, places, and things first. And he would not be our priority, and he would not be the center of our focus. So you don't fit in because God needs to strengthen your faith. He needs to make sure that you rely purely and solely on him for your provision, for your thoughts, for your words, for anything and everything that it is that you want to do, that you want to accomplish, that you want to be. He wants to make sure that you're solely relying on him. So please understand that it's okay if you do not fit in. You were not made to fit in. You were not born to fit in. You were born to stand out. You are the blueprint. People need to be able to see you. They need to be able to recognize you. They need to be able to point you out.